The groups are asking the court to forgive and declare the forbearance credit policy as unlawful, set it aside, and block any cancellation of student loans based on it. In the first round of relief legislation, Congress said months in which borrowers benefited from the payment pause would count toward loan forgiveness for public workers. And roughly half of the more than $1 trillion in outstanding loans have been made directly by the federal government and being repaid through one of the 4 income-driven payment plans. The plan is capping monthly payments at a given percentage of earnings and with the promise that the balance will be forgiven after 25 years of payments. But a 2022 Government Accountability Office found that the Education Department did not accurately track the payments until a decade after the first income-driven plan was actually implemented. This is the Institute, and they say that $39 billion in debt cancellation is only a fraction of the true cost of a buy-and-post plan, assuming the per-borrower cost of cancellation remains the same. Now, for $39 billion in debt cancellation, it's only a fraction of the true cost of buy-and-post plan. Assuming the per-borrower cost of cancellation remains unchanged, the groups estimate that the adjustment program could cost $175 billion in foregone payments and interest. We have some major news. There are upcoming changes to Social Security, and it may take effect sooner than we expected. As Social Security is adjusted on an annual basis, lawmakers are working together to improve the program. On one hand, bigger monthly payouts may arrive for many beneficiaries, but a certain group of people could see their tax liability increase. For over 49 million retired workers who depend on Social Security benefits, the program is a vital financial lifeline that helps cover their monthly expenses. This retirement program has a significant impact, lifting more than 20 million people out of poverty. It includes 15 million individuals aged 65 and above. But Social Security is not a static system. It continuously adapts to changes in the U.S. inflation rate, life expectancy, and other relevant factors. Although specific changes won't be announced by the SSA until October, there are several changes that will take effect in 2024. The most anticipated change is the cost of living adjustment, which is an annual increase intended to keep the pace with the rising cost of living. Due to high inflation, though, people are having questions about it. In 2023, beneficiaries reached the highest COLA in 41 years, but the COLA for 2024 is expected to be more modest. The nonpartisan senior advocacy group, the Senior Citizens League, estimated that the COLA for 2024 will be 3%. For the average retired worker, though, receiving $1,900 would mean an additional $55 per month next year. Unfortunately, though, the purchasing power of Social Security benefits have been declining regularly since the start of the century, and any increase actually won't even adequately address the estimated loss in purchasing power that is experienced by seniors since 2000. Another change for the upcoming year involves high-earning workers who will see an increase in payroll taxes due to a rise in the maximum taxable earnings cap. The payroll tax contributes about 90% of the program's revenue, and only about 6% of workers reach the maximum taxable earnings cap a year. Additionally, high earners collect Social Security benefits. They may experience a large monthly payout, as the maximum monthly benefit amount at a full retirement age is expected to rise in 2024. To qualify for the maximum Social Security benefit, you must meet 3 criteria. You must be the retirement age of full, work at least 35 years, and reach or surpass the maximum taxable earnings cap at all 35 years used in calculation.
I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jacobs, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the panelists and Speaker Gingrich for being here today. This is a very critical issue for the future of our nation and our young people. I served for over 7 years on the Buffalo School Board, so kind of a lot of my tone here will be with that experience, but certainly it highlighted for me the significance of what you're talking about today. I can't recall the exact statistics, but I do remember our kindergartners and our pre-K kids coming in with a significant number of them already needing remedial help because of the fact that they had oral language deficiencies and the other basic building blocks that are required for them to be able to learn to read. And so this is a very important issue. Mr. Malik, I just wanted to ask one question. Your testimony
Round of the crisis essential premium pay program is about to begin. The amounts to $165 million, funded through federal crisis relief dollars. Checks will be mailed automatically to eligible Massachusetts residents. In the first round of the program in March, distributed $500 checks to about 480,000 people. Officials said that people who received those payments are not eligible for this latest stimulus funding. Also not eligible are those who received unemployment benefits in 2021 or a crisis relief linked payment from the Massachusetts state government as their employer. The Baker administration will gauge eligibility for the programs second based on 2021 tax returns. The criteria encompasses individuals who earned at least $13,500. And according to state officials, that equates to a maximum income threshold for a single filer of $38,000. The maximum threshold is $52,000 for a household of two. Now, the program's website states that payments are not subject to state income tax, but they may be to federal income tax. There are also about 300,000 lower and middle income families in Connecticut stated to receive $250 per child tax rebate this summer. The rebates are part of the $663 million in tax relief included in a state budget that the governor recently signed into law and is touting as part of his re-election campaign. The governor said during a press conference, "I'm going to do everything I can to make Connecticut the most family-friendly state in the country." Republicans are equating the checks, which are expected to go out in late August, with the income tax rebates that the governor gave out in 1998, which Democrats criticized at the time as election year handouts. In recent years, Democrats led by representatives have tried to establish a new child tax credit in Connecticut, but the effort has so far failed. Connecticut is among nearly 3 dozen states that are seizing on flush budget coffers to provide tax relief to their residents, to ease the burden of record high inflation. Republicans have said that the relief doesn't go far enough, while Democrats are pointing to federal rules that limit the amount of tax cuts that states, which use the crisis relief money to balance their budgets, can provide. The U.S. economy is far better shape than it was at the onset of the crisis 2 years ago. GDP growth is up significantly, and many workers, especially lower earners, have seen a boost in wages, though the effect of this has been tempered by recent inflation. 2 years ago, the new crisis and ensuing economic effects created much more uncertainty in the economy, with spiking unemployment and entire sectors of the economy shutting down. In response, the federal government stepped in with unprecedented levels of financial relief to U.S. households and the economy, and that was in 3 major stimulus packages. One of the signature components of Congress's economic relief effort was a series of stimulus payments made to U.S. households. U.S. Census survey data from July 2020 said the payments were significant. Now, payments are starting to get sent out this week to many low-income households. Checks worth of $450 have officially been approved by state officials. And other lawmakers, everybody, are now considering a more targeted stimulus package that would actually provide more checks to a smaller group of people. And folks, for the past 6 months last year, parents across the country received monthly checks. They expanded child tax credit, under which parents got up to $300 per kid. Lasted from July to December 2021. This program helped keep millions of people out of poverty, touching 35 million families and helping many people. It paused in December, though, after Republicans in Senate Democrat Manchin prevented Congress from making